Hey guys, welcome to the TXP part of your EB Academy. If you're watching this video, it means that you are thinking about applying for TXP. So I'm already very happy for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about basically what is our responsibility as TXP and also what is not our responsibility as TXP. So by the end of this video, you should have a very clear idea of what are the processes and then the main goals that we reach as VPs TXP. So the first thing you need to know is that basically what we do inside the organization, so our role inside the organization, is basically making decisions about people inside ISAC. So every time that we're doing our processes, our goals, and everything that we do, usually rounds about making decisions about people. And these decisions are not random. There are three main decisions that we make when we're working on TXP. The first one is how can we get the best people inside the organization to work with us and to be a part of ISAC as a member. Then how can we keep them inside the organization, not only working and engaging them, but also performing, so delivering results for our LCs. And then finally, how can we develop them either functionally and personally? So teaching them everything they need to know in advance so they can actually be very confident when they are performing their work and also perform it personally. So how can we enable our people and our LCs to achieve their personal goals inside the organization and achieve what they want to develop? So talking a little further about the processes that we have. So when we talk about GET, we have three main processes. The first one is the membership planning, which is the eye of the TXP that needs to be very and consistently looking for the gaps in terms of talent capacity. So what is the percentage of full talent capacity that my LC is having every day? So it's not something that we do only before the admissions, but the ongoing process of evaluating the percentage of talent capacity and what do I need as TXP to do in order to guarantee that these resources that my area is responsible for providing to the LCs, so members, that I'm actually fulfilling this and I'm providing these resources. Then you have admissions and reintegration, which are the two main processes that we have in order to actually get people inside the organization. So admissions, all of the processes of admissions, ending in the onboarding phase. So onboarding not only being that week in which people do tasks, but all of the processes that you go through when you enter ISAC until you are very aware of what you need to do, you're aware of ISAC basics, you went through your discovery day, so all of this process. And also reintegration, which is a strategy that we use to get people inside the organization, mainly to work for OJAX, but people that went through an exchange with us. So how can we end their exchange engaging them to continue inside the organization as a member? And then we have the internal selections, so the OC selections, the team leader selections, which is also our job as TXP to design a process of getting people that actually engage them, teach them what they need to know, and then creating pipeline for all of the roles and opportunities that we launch inside our LC. So these three are the main processes in terms of getting, which is the first decision we make when we are TXP. Then about the second decision, so how can we keep people inside the organization? Our main tool to keep people and give them a good experience as members is team standards implementation. So team standards are the tools that ISAC chose to use in order to manage people inside the organization. So they're very adaptable to our reality and our needs. And it is our responsibility as TXP to first educate everybody that manages people, so VPs, all the other VPs, team leaders, OCP, everybody that manages people, educate them on team standards, make them very, very, very aware of what they are, and then tracking on their applications. So designing a peak in which everybody is using building, then performing, then closing. So tracking in a very simple way so that people actually see that managing members is the best way in order to achieve our results. Then you have performance evaluation, which is something that happens every quarter, and then every team leader evaluates the performance of its members, either personally, so how are our members achieving their personal goals, and also functionally. So how are they performing and delivering the goals for the organization? So this is a more qualitative and also quantitative analysis that helps us to design the next strategies for the next quarter. And then we have organizational culture, which is the work that VPTXP and LCP do in order to shape some behaviors and culture that drives the LC to the right direction. So all LCs have a culture, and it's up to the EB to decide what is the direction that this culture will go. Then how can this culture help the EB to achieve the goals? So it's a very important work for VPTXP and LCP together, but only also for the whole EB as well. And then we get to develop. So when we talked about developed, you remember that we have the functional development and also the personal development. When we talk about the functional development, we have two ways of developing education in our members. The first one is the physical education, which is the one that we perform in local levels, so trainings given in LC meetings, trainings given in area meetings, team meetings, and all of the training that you need to do according to the timeline, so always ahead of timeline. So when the approvals peak come, for example, people are always aware of how do I work with approvals. So you don't wait until the peak to come to actually teach them. You always do it in advance. And also virtual education, which is the strategy that we are following right now by using Isaac Hub in order to develop the education. So if you're watching this video, you are being part of the virtual education as well. And also lead. So how can we assess the LDA, so the leadership development assessment that each and every one of your members do when they enter each experience, and how can we use this data in order to design lead spaces to develop people in the LDM qualities, so the 12 defining elements, the 4 leadership qualities that Isaac develops in its membership. So these 3 things are the main processes that enables us to not only keep people working and delivering results, but also developing and making them more aware on how to do these things, and then having a good membership experience. So when we talk about TXP, this is it. So we have get, we have keep, and we have develop, which are the pillars of TXP, and then the processes inside these things. So, but it's very important to understand that since we make decisions about people, if we based these decisions on our opinion, we would be being very unfair with people. So that's why we have people analytics, which is basically the idea that by every decision that we make, we need to base this decision on data, on very concrete analysis, in order to make this decision fair for everybody. So when we think about admissions, internal selections, supply team standards, virtual education, lead, it's always important that we understand that we need to base these decisions on data and our work on data, because then if we don't, we are only guessing things and doing random things. So yeah, this is TXP, get, keep, develop, and people analytics to make sure everything is based on data. And then finally, what are our goals as Isaac in Italy when it comes to TXP? So nationally speaking, we have 3 main goals, 3 widely important goals, that each of them related to one of the pillars of TXP. So the first is to have 90% of talent capacity by the 31st of January 2018, meaning that not right after admissions, but after a while, after admissions, we still have 90% of talent capacity in our entity. So meaning that we were able to get people inside the organization, and then keep them working and keep the retention high. The second one is the team standards implementation. So having 85% of team standards implementation also by the 31st of January, meaning that we're actually understanding that team standards is our tool to manage people and actually putting this in practice and tracking as TXP. And also education, so having 70% of our members involved with virtual education and certified for their roles. Certified for their roles mean that they completed the virtual academy that is the prerequisite for them to work better in their roles, so as team leaders, as members of marketing, as members of IGV, so that we guarantee that people are very confident to do their functional job. So these are our goals. And each of them are related to one of the pillars of TXP that you just saw. So that's basically it. That's the basic idea of TXP and what we actually do. I'm very open to answer any questions that you might have. You can just write me in my email and we can keep in touch. Thank you and good luck in your process.